Hello, let's start thinking about more interesting combinations of things in circuits. This is some background on Investigation 14A, and I want to point out the very first thing to know is the essential question we're digging into here is what are similarities and differences between series and parallel circuits. Now those are new words, series and parallel, so we're going to take a look at each of those and see how they work. Now let's take a look at what I have here. These are regular old batteries, same batteries we've been using. I have a voltmeter over here set up, and these are the probes of my voltmeter. And just a reminder, when we're measuring voltage, what we're measuring is the amount of energy per charge available in the battery. So if I take the probes, negative on the one side, positive on the other, and I check this battery, you'll notice we get about 1.5 volts, 1.4, 1.3. See if I can get it a little more stable. There we go, about 1.5 volts. If I check the other battery, I also get about 1.5 or 1.6 volts. So these two batteries both are showing about 1.5 volts. And of course, as you've seen before, if I go across both batteries, I should get the combination, or about 3 or a little more than 3 volts. So these batteries right now are showing me that the voltage, the energy available, is just about 3 volts across these two, 3.1 volts. So now what I'm going to do is, unlike before where we put in a single light bulb, I'm going to put in a whole string of light bulbs. I'm going to take one bulb and attach it, and then I'm going to grab another bulb and attach it, and then I'm going to take a third bulb and attach it, and you notice my circuit has more things in it than before. Here's a switch, we'll put that in. And I'm going to walk you through the circuit. Notice from the positive side of the battery, here's a wire. The charge comes through the first bulb, through the second bulb, through the third bulb, back to the switch, and back through the batteries. So we have a single path and 3 different bulbs. This is what's called a series circuit. In a series circuit, there's only one path for the charge to flow. Now when I flip the switch, we see all 3 bulbs come on. They're not super bright, but if you can maybe tell, they are turned on, those 3 bulbs. And in the investigation, the goal is to measure the voltage from the batteries and compare that to the voltage at each point. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the meter across each of the bulbs. So I'm going to start by putting the meter across the first bulb. These points in the lab sheet are referred to as A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to put the meter across A and B. And if you look over there at the meter, we see about 0.9 volts. If I make the meter a little more sensitive, let me check it again. Bulb A, or the first bulb between points A and B, we see 0.94 volts. Just a little less than 1. Now let's check the middle bulb, between points B and C, and we see about the same, a little bit more, 1.05 volts. So about 1.05 volts. And then if I check between points C and D on the third bulb, we see, oh yeah, about the same thing. Again, about 0.9, 0.95. Let's get it to stabilize there. Looks like my meter's being a little crazy. I'm expecting this to be about 0.9 volts, just like the other one. If you have frustrations with these, because sometimes they don't work well, you're not alone, it's okay. There we go, so 0.94. Again, the first one about 0.96, the middle one about 1.05, and the third one about 0.96. So then the other thing we want to check is what's the voltage across all 3 of them. So if I measure across all 3 of them, notice what we see is just about 3 volts, 2.97, but just about 3 volts. So the question is then to think about, how do those relate? How does this voltage, 0.95, and this voltage, a little more than 1, and this voltage, around 1, a little less than 1, compared to across all 3. And I think you'll quickly recognize a pattern. So again, a series circuit, all the energy is provided by the 2 batteries, and the energy goes some to this bulb, some to this bulb, and some to this bulb. And now we'd like you to go ahead and answer a couple of questions about what you've observed in this section.